We'll get started, I guess. Yeah. Okay. So, hi everyone. I'm Grandmaster Magesh Panchanathan, and I guess I see most of you are familiar faces. Let's go ahead and get started. So today, I wanted to focus our lesson on some calculation and evaluation, kind of go hand in hand. So let's start with this first position. And let's jump right into action. Yeah. So basically, let's start thinking about what we see in this position, and then let's get started. Hard to hear me. Is anyone else finding it hard to hear me? Is this better? Okay. So maybe it's a situation for you, Roger. You might want to, Roger Shi, you might, it might be volume on your side. Just check that. Yeah. Sound is okay. All right. So let's get started with this position again. You can all first type in chat, or of course, if you want to say something, raise your hand. I'll call on you. The idea is always to talk about basic observation in a position. I've mentioned this several times, is that it's nice to first understand the position, and then we go on. Oh, Ryo is asking for a classroom. I haven't set this up in a classroom, so I can try to do that as we go through it. Yeah, that's actually a good idea. But why don't you guys calculate this? So before we start, tell me, what do you see in this position? What do we see? Every time I start the class, and then I remember we could do a classroom. Passed D4 pawn. Fair enough. Keep going. What else? Oh, by the way, I think we need to make the chat only to host and co-host. Sorry. Oh, good point. I can make a chessable classroom. Why not? Let me do that. Even better. Give me a second, guys. While you're doing this, I will set up the classroom also very quickly. Hopefully the screen share should not change much last year, so should not affect your. What else do I see? White king is weak because of the G2 and H1 situation. Okay, fair enough. By the way, I need more. White can attack the king with rook h6 light squares, B5 pawn. Okay, I like this. White has queenside pressure with this with this pawns. D4 pawn is contained. Black has open diagonal and H file with attack. Okay, very interesting. Rook h6 ideas. Very good. All right. So basically, what's happening is Black has a strong central pass pawn and a potential kingside attack. White is definitely better on the queen side because I have a strong pass pawn and I have a strong bake on B5. Right. So that's kind of the balance we have here. I mean, if the queen straight off, most likely to be a draw unless the white pawn goes to B6, then white will have an edge. If the B5 and A6 pawn goes off and the queen straight off, most likely a draw, right? So now it's time for us to start calculating. So let's start thinking about what exactly would be the move you would calculate here. So some of you have already given me some. The point is always to do candidate moves. So when I say calculation evaluation, we need to see through a few moves. We should also make sure we incrementally work our calculation through. The biggest mistake I've seen a lot of people do is that, give me a 3-move, 4-move sequence right away. Always start with a couple of candidate moves, and then within those moves, look at a couple of candidate moves, scan the position thoroughly, so you're actually being very accurate before you're going in depth. Okay, Ryo has given me a couple of moves. Narayan has given me moves. I'm still creating that, guys. Actually, I'm just creating a regular classroom. Give me a second. While you are still thinking about this, we'll switch into that in a second. Okay, very nice. I have seen 3 candidate moves so far that you've all given me. I'm not sure if rook e5 would be a candidate move. I'm not sure what exactly it's doing. rook h8. I'm guessing Aryan you meant rook h6. Okay, rook h6. All right, I'll tell you there are only two real candidate moves that come to my mind. One is rook h6, another one is rook d e6. A takes b5 has been considered by some of you. You have given me that a takes b5 option, but I'm not so thrilled. For example, it seems to give one important critical move back to white, but it's okay. At the least, you can look at it. It's not like a bad move, because clearly I cannot play queen b5 or rook b5 because of rook e1 check. So it's not necessarily like a bad move. The only reason it's a little lower in my list is because it's not a threat. Whereas you play rook d6, you're threatening rook e1 check. You play rook h6, you're threatening mate. So those two moves will definitely be higher priority for me. So pick one of the two, guys. Pick one of the two, and we can start calculating. So I don't know, I think I did one of these sessions with you guys before. So the idea is that not necessarily work on the end result of the calculation. We also want to work on the process of the calculation, right? So it's like when somebody grades your paper and you get something wrong, there's a very big difference between you do 19 correct steps and get the 20th step wrong compared to you get the first step wrong. So that's how calculation is, right? So there are multiple, Narayan, we might have done this in one of the Chess Kings and Queens class. So you might know this. Let's see how much you remember this. I have other positions too, but this one is very interesting, but let's see how much you remember and do it. But the point I was making was that in the calculation process, if you get 19 steps right and the 20th wrong, that's still okay. You can still solve that compared to getting the first step wrong. So it's important that you get the process right as well. Okay, so I see some people have given some choice. In the meantime, I think we do have the classroom. So I will put that in chat. All of you can join in. And I will also readjust the screen. Somehow I'm not able to fit this in. I did send a link to everyone, yeah? Use the password is 123456, guys. Just that's all. It's usually my password. Okay, I'm going to resume the share. So I think, Kostya, I just switched the board a little bit, but I tried to keep it as close as possible. So some of them wanted to get the leaderboard, Aryan. So I just went back to this one. By the way, I hope all of you guys are following the World Championship. Yeah, it's pretty cool. We have some interesting games. Okay, I can send the link for the classroom again in chat. Just click on this link, put in your own name, and the password is simply 123456. Oh, I'm not showing the letter in the bottom. Hold on, let me adjust it a little bit. Okay, there it is. Hopefully now it's good. Okay, so I guess the first choice is very straightforward. I think rook h6 has been picked by most of you, which makes a lot of sense. Let's start calculating rook h6. And I think White's response is pretty obvious, I think. If I don't want to get checkmated, I have to play f3, yeah? What after f3? What do we do after f3? Well, g4 still gets mated, yeah? I'm threatening mate. Rook h6 is threatening mate on h1, so even if you play g4, you're still getting mated. So f3 is kind of forced. Ah, you mean to say g4 for black? Okay. Okay. Okay, so I see a few of you who have given this option for black very clearly after white's first move, which makes a lot of sense. I think that is the move you have to calculate, yeah? Very good, right? So I think I'm not asking the questions yet. I'll ask questions on the board at some point, but the main move to consider after rook h6 and f3 has to be again a forcing move. And most of you have given me in chat that it's rook e3. Yeah, rook e3 is definitely a forcing move. Now I want to know how good your calculation is. At this point, what are the candidate moves for white and what would you really pick as a variation for white? Let's see. Again, the key is to make sure you have the candidate moves and you're calculating all the variations. Remember this, the moves you give me have to be very reasonable. If you give me a move that is instantly losing, that means you're wasting your time calculating something that's bad. It's very important that you pick reasonable moves for white at that point, so you can actually spend time with reasonable calculation. Okay, Aradhya, you've given me 2 of them. Aryan, I like that variation. That seems to be working well, but that's a full variation. I don't know if you already gave me candidate moves. Santosh, you need the link for the board. I'm sending it to you right now. So basically, we're calculating rook h6, f3, and rook e3, and we're trying to see what are the candidate moves for white in that position. Actually, I see 3 different moves. One move, not so great. Should end quite easily, but there are a couple of other moves which are very, very interesting. So Eric Feng, I'm not so sure the move you chose for white is very, what should I say, like with a fighting sense. So one of the things I want you to remember in calculation is that your opponent will be thinking pretty much like you. So they don't want to play a variation in which they're clearly worse. They're always looking for moves in which they can play for a win, and that is kind of important. So pick moves that have some struggle. Don't pick the moves in which I'm going to really say, basically you're better or like it's game over. For example, after rook e3, queen f1 is one such move, yeah? Because I feel like queen f1 is too passive. I mean, I should be trying to think about doing something on my own. Queen f1 is definitely saying, okay, I'm allowing rook f3, and then now I'm threatening this, I'm threatening that. It is too straightforward. So I wouldn't pick queen f1. Okay, 3 candidate moves. I want all of you to type the 3 candidate moves that are possible for white there. I feel like 2 moves, most of you have figured out. One other move has not been written by anyone yet. One move that is kind of, I just realized my screen share has been paused. One move that has been kind of very common that most of you have given me is queen f5. Very logical. I agree with that. Because the queen is now attacking g5 and definitely creating some threats on its own. So I agree, queen f5 is definitely one of the candidate moves. Roger, perfect. I like the 3 moves that you've given me. These 3 moves would definitely make a lot of sense. Let's see if I'll give a few more seconds for others to see if they can also figure something out. Let's see if anyone else can give me all 3 candidate moves that need to be calculated. Right, that's right. That's also a move that you need to calculate, yeah? Queen c2, I don't think is an important candidate move. I think queen c2 again is very, what should I say? It's not really threatening anything, yeah? What is a threat? I can even play queen f3 or something like that. So I don't think queen c2 will work. Queen f5, queen d4 are very much possible. The third move, which has been given by some, not by everyone, is b takes a6. I think it's a move you have to calculate, because even though you're attacking this rook, I mean that queen, white is attacking on b7. Why not? It opens the b file. It definitely looks like a move that you need to calculate, yeah? But let's start with the opposite way of how you would do this in a game. I'm going to start with a move that is an easy solution, which is queen takes d4. I don't think queen takes d4 is a very strong move. In a game, you won't calculate like this, but I'm going to ask a question right now here, why queen d4 doesn't work, okay? So you should be able to answer after I ask this question. So you will start from move 1, of course, but you already know the first 2 moves. I think there is one more move that I can ask. I'm trying to see if I should. No, I'm going to stop it at this. So let's do 90 seconds for this question. And if you guys don't have, for whatever reason, if you're not on the board, you can just do the chat. It's not rook d6, Alexander. We are actually calculating rook h6, remember? We're not calculating rook d6. Rook d6 is also an interesting move, but I had the screen paused, right? Did I actually give you the answers? I didn't, hopefully. Yes, Raya, that's right. That's it. But it's very early. You don't have to worry about the leaderboard or points at this point. Actually, there's a question I can ask after that too, but there are multiple ways to probably play there. That's the reason I didn't ask that as a question. Once we get there, I'll ask after we make the move. Yes, Ryo. Unfortunately, you will. You have to be in the same name to keep your points. Yeah, I think this is very straightforward, yeah? A lot of people did get it right. Very good. Okay. So just moving on. After rook h6, f3, rook e3, queen d4 simply runs into queen takes f3. So after you play queen d8 check, which is like the only real attacking move, after king h7, there is only one defending move for white, actually. There is no checks, of course. There's no queen d3 check. There's no queen takes g5 check. That's why it's important to go to h7. What can white play at that point? There's only one move. Otherwise, it's like instantly game over. Okay, rook g2 is the only move. And now what can black play? I think Rayo, you gave me a good move. Yeah, so basically winning. Yeah, Roger, that should be winning. The reason I didn't give that as a question, yeah, Santosh, that's winning. Owen, winning, very good. Pretty much all of you came up with rook e2, which is fair enough. I was thinking maybe even queen h5 wins. That's the reason I did not ask that as a question. But now coming to think of it, queen h6 is not the same clarity as rook e2. Rook e2 is like kind of mating, checkmate, yeah? So much stronger. Okay, so queen d4 is bad. So now that leaves us with two different moves, pawn takes a6 and queen f5. Which one should we calculate first? What do you guys think? Okay, so Santosh and Narayan say that we have to calculate b takes a6. Okay, let's do b takes a6 then. We are going to calculate b takes a6 after after rook e3. So rook h6, f3 is forced pretty much, rook e3. Now we are going to calculate b takes a6. I'm simply going to ask this as a question. And then we'll talk about it. Actually, I'll give you 5 minutes. We need to do some calculation. Yes, I asked the question, do not rush. You have 5 minutes to do this. So please use the chat. I can guide you. I can talk to you about the variations. So don't rush into making any moves on the website yet. The question is just coming up on the website. Give it a second. Austin May has given me a variation. Hold on 1 second, Austin. Yeah, so the question has popped up. So like I said, don't make any moves there yet. We have plenty of time. Oh, Austin May, you're talking about a problem for black. Fair enough. Yeah, that could be a problem. I agree with you. I mean, you can still calculate more on that. By the way, there are multiple solutions, or in the sense there are multiple ways to proceed for black in there. But clearly there is a best solution. That's the reason I'm asking this as a question. Oh, and you went too fast, yeah? Plenty of time. What's a rush? What is the rush? But if you've not checked your answer and still think about it, you can use a chat to talk about what exactly we need to do. So just to bring you all up to speed, rook h6, pawn to f3, rook e3, b takes a6 is what we are calculating. Wow. Clearly no one has enough patience. Double question marks, triple question marks with the move. Well, you make a wrong move and you're asking me why it doesn't work. Why don't you calculate it? Why didn't you calculate it? I gave you 5 minutes to do it. And like I said, there are multiple moves there. I just wanted you to play the best one. Okay, I see 2 people got it right. Not bad. Not even close to... So the candidate moves for black. I mean, we didn't talk about any candidate moves for black. I just gave the position for black in that position. But for white, there were 3 candidate moves after rook e3. One was queen f5, one was queen d4, one was b takes a6. We already eliminated queen d4 as a bad move, not necessarily even a candidate move at a higher level. But now b takes a6 and queen f5 are both moves that we need to calculate. And right now we're calculating b takes a6-7. Austin May, that's right. That's instantly winning, right? The correct answer, once you spot it in the sequence, is just much, much stronger than any other move. Good question. What do you think? Now, Sefer, I think the move you're suggesting, I want to know what exactly happens, yeah? I don't know who has this ID. All right, we are down to the last minute. Whatever you're calculating, this is the time to start making moves. Oh, Yes, it's Narayan. Narayan, did you remember the variation or were you able to calculate it? Either ways, it's good. Both. I like it. So you remembered a little bit and then your calculation brought it back. We're going to talk about a variation. And I think Ryo also did the same. All right. I think the timer is up. Yep, the timer is up. Let's talk about the position. Now, clearly, only two players were able to spot the actual move, which is queen to c7. Yeah, which is, let me just play it out very quickly to show you. This is much easier. This is instantly game over, and you need to spot this. I know there are a lot of other moves you're calculating. We will also talk about it in just a second. But queen c7, now we know it's a simple double attack, and I'm threatening to take on g3. And I don't even know if there is anything to continue in calculation. Maybe I can play queen f1. Queen f1. Is queen f1 still interesting, guys, or will it be game over? Maybe queen f1 is still a little bit of calculation that I need to do. Aradhya, did I do this position here? Or what do you mean you remember? I know I did this. I've shown this to kings and queens students at some point. You've seen this idea before. Okay. Yeah, let's see queen f1 after queen takes g3 check. I have both moves, yeah? Rook g2. Okay, rook g2 I think is game over. I'm getting some kind of problems for sure. Or am I? How am I winning, guys? Okay, let's do rook g2 and then let's do queen g2. By the way, I have not seen this. I'm just doing this with you. Yeah, queen g2, rook e1 is game over, by the way. Yeah, fair enough. So let's just get that eliminated. Queen g2 is just not possible because of rook e1. So rook g2 is the only move, which still looks a tad bit interesting now because where is the force to win? If I play something like queen h4 and they play a7, where is the win? You want to play queen f4. Okay, still a7. We need a forced win. Otherwise, white's queening the pawns. Interestingly, I don't see it. I see how I can take the queen, but then white will get a queen on its own. So let's go take a step back. Maybe I should not play queen takes g3. Is there a better move, guys? Let's think. I could play g4. Frankly, when I was looking at this, I didn't even consider queen f1 so much. So there are two moves that come to my mind. I can play g4, which looks very interesting, actually. White has no threat here, right? a7, I can simply play queen takes a7. Rook b7 looks very, somewhat very overstretched. So g4 looks like a very reasonable move to me, actually. Can I play g4? g4, you want to play rook b7? Fair enough. Yeah, because now queen g3 will still run into rook g2. Wow, how did we run into this? Queen takes a5. I like the drawing. So g4, I will play rook. After rook b7, queen takes a5. Now I'm hitting this rook. I know you can get your second queen if you play a7. If queen d2, queen check, and I go king up, rook takes b7 check is also possible. Okay, I'm going to give it a couple of more minutes and I'm going to calculate with you guys. Worst case scenario, then we'll have to ask our friend Stockfish, but I would like to not do that. Given that we are working on calculation and evaluation, we want to do this on our own, yeah? We can always verify with the computer, but we want to solve it on our own. Okay, so g4, rook b7, queen a5, a7. What I'm worried about is if I play queen takes d2, you have a8 queen check, and when I play king g7, you have rook takes f7 check. Austin May, that's exactly what I'm thinking. Rook takes f7 check in that position is happening. After king takes f7, pawn takes g4 check. Now suddenly the two queens will combine. I have a queen on f1 and a queen on h1. Sorry, queen on a8. So that's a little annoying to me. A tad bit annoying. You know what? What if I simply move my king up? After a7, I play like a prophylactic move, playing king to g7. That'll be so cool. Yep, I think that should do it, guys. So I'll play g4, rook b7, queen takes a5, you play a7, I'll play king g7. Because if you play rook d4, I have rook e1. You cannot move the rook easily because I'm threatening rook e1. If you take on g4, I have rook g3 check and I also have rook f6. So it seems to be winning for me, right? So just to play it out, I think g4. By the way, I should have probably checked this more in depth. I just thought black is easily winning. Something like this, yeah, prophylactic move. If you take, I go here, and after this, I simply block. This should be winning. Unless you figure out a way to do some queen versus rook situation, which is annoying. But this is, and I can't move back. I can't move here because he takes rook g6 is like the only move. All right, fair enough. I don't want to spend way too much time on this. I'm going to check with Stockfish to see if we got it right. And I will tell you guys what we did. If we did good. We still have a couple of variations in here, and then I also have one more game in there. So we need to do both. Queen c7. Queen f1. What did we miss? G4. Good. We were on track. Rook b7. Queen takes a5 is correct. a7 and king g7. We did calculate it. Not bad. Not bad at all. King g7, and we are winning. It says minus plus, but it's not actually separate. So it's like decisive advantage, but not that easy actually. So I think there is this is still an interesting exercise of calculation even after finding queen c7. From that perspective, actually, I might rethink the answer here. Yes, Narayan, you have a question?
No question.
No questions. So some of you who gave queen f3 as the answer here, I might think this is more practical also, guys, because rook check king here, and after queen takes rook f6. This seems to me like black is winning here. I think some of you wanted to play this variation, yeah? You those who played queen takes f3, I'm assuming that you planned to do this, which looks also pretty nice to me, because I think this rook e1 and queen g3 are both very strong threats. But I have a question. Some of you were suggesting rook h1 check. I want to know what is going on there. What is going on with rook h1 check? What is the evaluation on this? Very interesting move, obviously, because you want to take queen f3 check and then take my queen with the tempo, because then you won't lose your queen. Roger, why is that? Can you give me a variation? Some of you are saying rook h1 check is winning, and some of you are saying it's a draw. It turns out rook h1 doesn't work. I'm going to ask this as a question for white. Let's see what you guys can come up with. Right, I'll give you only 2 minutes because you should have calculated this beforehand. And the question is up. That's right. So you want to play this Aradhya, right? Yeah. The problem is it just doesn't work. Ooh, I see a couple of answers that have been done very quickly, already wrong. It's white's move, Narayan. That's right, exactly. I'm saying white can defend. Rook h1 actually doesn't work. I'm giving you that information already. I'm saying you defend it. All right, so time is up. So let's see, only 2 of you got it right. So the whole idea is very simple. King has to take and queen takes f3 check. Now some of you tried to play rook g2. The problem is if you play rook g2, I take. First playing rook b8 check. Okay, we'll get to that in just a second. So now the problem is if you play rook b8 check, you're obviously getting mated because I have a rook on the board. So you don't want to do that. And if you don't play rook b8 check, I will simply play rook d1 and then the rook gets traded, and this is not too dangerous. I can easily stop it. So rook g2 doesn't work. And some of you played king h2, which doesn't make sense. You're just giving me another pawn with a check for no reason. So, I mean, just out of simple logic, you should not be giving me an extra free move. Why? Yeah. King g1, I cannot play this move because you'll play rook g2 then. And then I will end up giving my queen. So now I'm forced to take it. Now, if you want to play the check first, I don't think it makes a huge difference. Roger, this should also work. So if you played rook g2, rook b8 check, I don't see any major difference. Yeah. So I gave the answer is to take this first and then play the check and then play a7. Now the problem is you just cannot reach this pawn. The best thing you can do is keep checking the king, and then this is just always a threat for me. So the game is a draw. Looks very fancy, but doesn't work, right? So that's why rook h1 check cannot be played. You have to either play queen c7 and calculate the variation we saw, or I think queen f3 is very reasonable. Queen f3 and rook f6. Having seen this queen f1 variation, I'm thinking maybe queen f3 is a little bit more reasonable for us. Okay, now that leaves us with queen f5. So what are we going to do about queen f5? Again, I'm going to give you a question, but we have spent a lot of time on this position overall, so I'm not going to give you too much time. Let's just calculate queen f5, and I will give you 3 minutes. Oh, sorry, actually, I have to make queen f5 move on the board because you have to play this for black. You can't see the question, Aryan? I think I just asked the questions. That was on pause. Screen share. Yep, that looks good, Austin. All right, time is up. So moving on, what really is the only mistake you might make is play rook g6. The problem is now you don't get out of checks, yeah? Or it's not easy to get out. Oh, first of all, of course, you've given up your threat. The second thing is king h7 is always running into rook h2 check. And if you play f6, of course, your queen is getting traded, yeah? So unfortunately, rook g6 should not be in the top of your list, given that rook is on h6. So king h7 makes a lot more sense. And now I'm threatening rook h1 check, followed by rook f1 and checkmate, yeah? And it's very difficult to deal with that. If I play this, I can just simply take and go rook f2, and somewhere I'll combine and finish off the game. So basically, black is winning with rook h6 and rook e3 because we have calculated all 3 moves and all of them are winning. But you needed some very precise calculation to do this, yeah? But also, this is not the sort of dangerous calculation. There are some positions I can tell you there's a lot of danger because if you go ahead with your variation, either it works or it doesn't work. So either you win or you draw or you just simply lose the game. And this one, I don't feel it the same way. Rook h6 is very natural. Rook e3 is natural. I don't think black is like playing for survival. Probably a draw or a win or something like that, yeah? By the way, this is from the US Championship. Jeffrey Zhang was playing black. Very, very beautiful game by him that he won. Let's, I wanted to do at least another full game, but we might not have a full game, but let me do at least another position. Okay. So this one, I'm just going to ask a question. Calculation, this is not necessarily like branches and other things. It's just basically white to play, win. We can do a few of these today as part of our calculation. So I'll give you, let's say, 5 minutes, or between 3 to 5 minutes is what I think we should do for these positions. But let's see. First, do some calculation. You can always add more time. Black king is leading his army. That's right. Unfortunately, leading too much. Zephyr, I like the way you're doing your candidate moves, continuing the calculation process. I think spotting initial idea should be very easy in this, but the question is to make sure that you calculate all the way through. If you guys see the first move, type it in chat. Or you think this is what you should be calculating, you can type it in chat. Fair enough. Pretty much everyone know what you should be calculating. Aradhya and Austin, you're a little bit off. I think it's not a bad idea what you're suggesting, but you have something else going on here. Oh, Ryo, how did you miss that? Okay. Fair enough. That also works, yeah? I mean, I'm never going to let go of a check and checkmate. In my defense, where there's a check and checkmate, there's a move and checkmate, I'm going to go for the check and checkmate. Sorry. No, you're not happy. Austin May, that's right. What will black play? Eric Feng, that's also possible. Again, it's a question of mate in 2 versus mate in 3. Would you choose mate in 3 if you have a mate in 2? This is more about position, yeah? So you have to be very clear. I mean, everybody kind of sees that rook h3 is the move you want to play, and then you are threatening rook g2 to win a rook. So black's kind of forced to connect the rooks. I have no other option. So I'll definitely have to, I mean, I can connect the rook with rook c, c8, rook ah, c8, rook c, h5 or something like that. The question will be, what can you do after that? On move 4, I don't know what is Ryan Min. Let me check your answer. Okay, some of you already got it. Santosh got it. Aryan got it. Alex, nice. All right, so I'll give you one more fun position after this, not too challenging. Right, see, it looks like most of you got it right. Some of you made a mistake towards the end. I wouldn't even call it a mistake because you are finding a checkmate. Roger and Ryo, you both basically did a checkmate, slightly in a different format, so that's okay. So some of you are letting the king escape a little bit. Okay, let's go over this. Rook h3 check, bishop takes h3, pawn takes h3. This makes a lot of sense. I'm threatening rook g2 check. So black plays a move like this. I like to keep this rook on h4 because otherwise you'll have this. At some point you'll have rook g4 and rook h4 idea as well. So I just decided to keep this rook back here. Okay, now you just need to find a closing idea. That's all, yeah. So which is very straightforward actually. Once you spot king f2, then you know it's over. In fact, even at this point, even if you don't connect the rooks, white's goal is to actually checkmate the black king, not necessarily win the rooks. Yeah. So from that perspective, we can even try to free your king by playing some f5 even right now. But okay, white is completely winning. But let's play this check and king here and then f5. So here I think some of you played king g1, which is of course completely winning. Not a problem because you move the rook somewhere for a checkmate. But okay, this is just a double checkmate, right? All right, one more position. Let's see. This is more about speed. Should not be a difficult position. Let's see who can solve this. I shall give you only 2 minutes. White to play and win. Super easy. 2 minutes. Let's say 15 points for this. Well, obviously, I will not play that variation, Austin May. I'll do something else. But okay, it shouldn't make huge difference. Wow, we're all missing this. I can't believe this. Roger got it right. Nice. So far, Roger is the only one. Roger Zhang. All right, Kelsey got it. See, this is a problem. You see the first move and then you don't follow up. You guys have to follow up. You want the easiest solution. I don't think your move works, Sefer. Yep, Eric Feng. That's right. That's a move, but you didn't do that though. Ah, it was a mouse slip. Okay, Sefer, I'm sorry. Right, let's see. We got about 40 seconds left. By the way, unfortunately, I have, again, another class exactly at 8 o'clock with pro chess training. So we might have to wrap it up right after this one. Jed, that looks interesting. Is that the best thing though? That's actually winning your variation. In fact, that's the first variation I thought was winning when I saw this position first. But I think you're missing something simple. Right, last 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Let's see. Charles got it. Roger got it. Ryan got it. Kelsey and Alex. Okay, so you all spotted Queen G6, and that was quite easy for all of you to spot. And you can play a lot of other moves here. I'm sure it's possible. Oh, well, Knight G7, Knight E5. I mean, like, why do you want to do that when you have checkmate? I mean, like, Queen F7 is checkmate. You completely missed mate in 2. Queen F7, Knight G5 is mate. You can play Knight C5 too. I think this was one of the variations. Like I said, this is something I calculated early on. I saw D6 followed by Knight B7 was a check. And you're up a queen, you're still winning. But okay, Queen F7 is very smooth. Queen G6 is somehow very easy to spot. Queen F7 is sometimes tricky to spot. All right, that's a good place for us to wrap up. I don't know if I can leave the meeting. I think it's up to Kostya. He has to decide. Some of them are saying, can you leave the meeting open so I can do chat? So Kostya, you can decide on that. Yes, Alexander Wang with 84 points is the winner in today's points table. And Narayan 74 and Kelsey with 69.84. Oh, you beat Ryo by 0.16. All because Ryo, you did not do a forced checkmate.